Hi, I'm John, and I'd like to show you how to make your own ostomy supplies, the wafer and the baggie, in case of an emergency, when your supplies haven't gotten here on time, or you forgot to order them. Okay, but you can make them at home with very little in the way of these supplies. First, you have to wash your hands up pretty good and make sure that you don't pass on hand oils and dust and dirt to your finished items. Okay, so here's the mix. It's made of Karaya gum powder and one tablespoon of this and 1 tablespoon of glycerin will give you 1 4-inch wafer. So let's I have a little container of 3 of these items. So I'll need 3 tablespoons. That one was a bit heaping to make up for the shortage on the front part. Okay, 3 tablespoons of this. And if you mix a little extra of the glycerin in there, it won't come up with a lesser product. It might be, you might like it a little better. By varying the amount of the glycerin, you can make it either a more formable to the shape of your ostomy, of your stoma. It comes out a little more flexible. This is gonna kill me. And we mix up the powder until all the lumps are gone, like you were making cookies, but easier. And now we're ready to pour into the mold. The molds are in a good cookie dish, a cookie sheet, so that it doesn't warp when it heats in the oven. A lot of the simpler ones do, but these have a nice rolled edge at the top and good thick sides so it doesn't warp. These spacers will save some of the product and allow you to get a little bit more in the way. You can get an extra wafer about every 10 you make if you don't use if you keep it out of the middle with the spacer. Which you don't need anyway because that's where the stoma will be. Well, let's see if I can. I guess the real challenge is to make sure that you can get the bottom of the mold covered completely, and the thickness will take care of itself pretty much. You just get it covered, and we're shooting for about 1/10 of an inch thickness. That seems to be the one that is easier to handle. When you take it out of the mold, it doesn't stretch too much. But you'll see that in a little later. And how we make those little spacers is easy, and we'll show you that a little later. Now there's surface tension on these, and the surface tension, you have to spread it around like this to make sure the mix reaches the sides of the mold, just hits the side of the mold. Otherwise, in the oven, it'll shrink up a little and it'll be a misshapen one. Now this is level enough, and we can resettle that in the middle. And that's generally where you want it anyway, in the middle. So now we're ready to put this in the oven. And I'll walk away. Here we go. Now these have been cooking in the oven for 90 minutes. So now we're ready to take them out. I'll show you pretty much what it'll feel like. Shall I peel these? Okay. You'll just peel them loose. These molds are really great, the silicone molds. I didn't cut my plastic. Okay, so this is the flexibility and the toughness are just right. Correct. Parchment paper is sold everywhere. I buy mine at Aldi's and Lidl because they're about half the cost of the regular food chains. Okay. So, would you like to see how this, the last thing here, we can show you how these come off. You have to use your finger a little bit. So again, make sure everything's clean. And so that'll come off. And now let me show you how to cut the hole in the bag. This is one of those storage bags. They're about 7 inches and on a side. And this is the sewing mat. Because of the grid, it's easy to measure out and mark the place where you need to cut, depending on the individual bag. So I take the marked place. I press the punch down and twist it a little bit, and it puts a hole exactly where I want it in the bag. And next, remove it from the punch area. And now here's one of the wafers, and the matte side of the wafer is the side you want to attach to the plastic bag. The other side, the glossy side that came out of contact with the mold is on the bottom, and it sticks better to the skin than the rough side or the matte side. Okay, so you use your bag, use the whole side and match it up against the wafer. That gets it attached nicely, and you're protected by the plastic on one side and the parchment paper on the other. And when you're ready to use it, you'll just peel it off, and it's ready for use now. Now I'm going to show you where you can find these things. The Karaya gum powder, you'd find either in 2 ounce or 4 ounces if you want to give this a try and see if it's for you. It'll be about $10 for a small amount. For 2 ounces of the Karaya gum powder, it runs about $10 or $12, and you can get 4 wafers out of that, the 2 to 4 ounces. This is a 16-ounce container. You can get it at the best price per ounce or per wafer. I've found at the Parthenon Company Incorporated in Utah. They're very good people to work with, and I ordered over the internet from their website. The vegetable glycerin I use is food grade, and it's sold by Amazon. They're sold and delivered. You can buy it in the quart size, depending on how many you want to make. You can buy it up to the gallon size, which makes it convenient. You don't have to keep ordering and receiving and things like that. Okay, now these molds, which are actually the very best I've found, they're available on Amazon too in the baking area. They're food grade. You would make them cookies or the muffin tops, they call it. And the silicone is good in the oven up to 400 degrees. And since we're not going to even get to 200 degrees, these things should last for a very long time. I've made hundreds and they're in perfect shape still. So, and they work really well when you go to peel them out. Glass and steel don't work nearly as well as these silicone molds. Okay, other than that, you just need a 1 tablespoon measure for each 4-inch wafer. You'll, use 1 tablespoon of each. Use a standard measuring cup and things like that. Now, these little spacers, it'll save you money in the long run, depending how many you make. What they'll do is make cutting easier. They'll make the whole position much easier for the user to cut to fit around the stoma. These are made from, I found the best thing to use after trying a number of different materials, the water pipe, 3/4 inch PVC water pipe, and I use a pipe cutter to cut them. I found that was much easier to use than a hacksaw. So a small pipe cutter, 3-inch, that'll leave a 1-inch hole for the stoma in the middle of the wafer. So over here, the easiest way to get a matching size hole in your baggie would be to use the punch. They're available again. I ordered mine through Amazon. I looked them up until I found the right size. You need a 1-inch punch to match the 1-inch hole that's produced by the pipe, the 3/4 inch pipe with the outside diameter of 1 inch, and it matches up perfectly. And there you have it. So thank you very much, and if there's any further questions about it, then you could email me at childersjohnc@yahoo.com. Thank you very much. How about this hat? Should I get rid of this hat?
No, I'd leave it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.